The attorney says reports between the district attorney's office and state police do not add up.
The very last line of the report from the district attorney's office says, the evidence submitted in the crash report does not support that Kyron Lacy should have known that his actions were the cause of the crash that happened approximately 72 yards in front of him at the time of impact. He's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact.
Kyron Lacy, he done been found innocent, and he done guaranteed a trip to hell. A weak ass, he know he innocent. For to kill my mother for that, and fuck his mama and anybody else who supported him. Fuck everybody who mad about Kyron Lacy. He was a weak ass nigga. They put this here. He's supposed to die.
You shot straight, but you shot late. High 11. This is the Rundown Podcast.
I'm gonna give you the rundown.
Say, man, hey, man, it's OG Jucario. Now I'm back at you with another one. And crazy, cockeyed, commando, cool, capping, confidential, CIA, clock chasing, cockamamie, cop calling Charles is back in the headlines, you guys. And this time, cross-eyed Charles is, expressing himself about Kyron Lacy and saying some very, very horrible and nasty things about the young man, disrespectfully to the deceased football player from LSU who lost his life after being involved in a high-speed chase where Lacy is said to have, unfortunately, inflicted some harm to himself. Now, everything is very, very suspicious leading up to that because it started out with this promising football player who had a career that was leading to the NFL, right? Promises of leading to the NFL before all this happened, and this accident, this car accident, was blamed on Kyron Lacy leading up to his death.
Well, tonight, former LSU wide receiver Kyron Lacy turned himself in on charges related to a hit and run that killed a man. Lacy declared for the draft after graduating in December. Now he could be charged with negligent homicide. Good evening and thanks so much for watching. I'm Whitney Miller. Lacy bonded out of jail less than 2 hours after turning himself in. We were the only news outlet there as he arrived at the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office. You can see him enter the building and speak with several state troopers, then get led to the back. The crash happened last month in Jack Bay. State police say a Dodge Charger was driving southbound on Highway 20. The driver sped up and crossed into the northbound side to pass multiple cars in front of them, even though it was a no passing lane. A car in the northbound lane stopped to avoid being hit, which caused the car behind them to swerve and hit another vehicle head on. The Charger sped off, and 3 people from 2 of those cars were taken to the hospital. One 78-year-old man, Herman Hall, died not long after. Investigators identified the Charger as belonging to Kyron Lacy. State police issued an arrest warrant for him, and tonight he turned himself in. Authorities tell us he faces charges of negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation.
Now, I read here in the article where it says that Lacy had led the LSU touchdowns in receiving with that 9 touchdowns that he had, before all this melee took place that last season that he played. And it had declared that, that month's NFL draft that was coming up, right? And he had obviously, did all this before the draft because he was supposed to be drafted, as I mentioned. Now, once I seen that this story was coming out the South, specifically Louisiana, he was an LSU star student athlete. Right, just scored 9 touchdowns that last season he played, leading up to his death. Headed to the NFL for shit show, right? Was gonna sign, and man, it just is very, very suspicious that this young guy was targeted. To me, it seems as if he was targeted. Right? They put this murder, this car accident, vehicular homicide on this young man who had this promising career, and that's just my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And it seems as if that's how it played out because with the information coming out saying he was innocent after all this time, but he never got a chance to find that out because unfortunately, Kyron Lacy met his demise upon his own request. And then you have another incident that he was involved in after he bonded out from that vehicular homicide after he was charged with that. He gets into another incident to where they gave us vague information, and I'm still trying to verify a lot of information on what actually happened with that situation, this domestic violence call that Kyron Lacy was involved in. They said, a family member, called and said that Lacy had fired a gun at the ground. And then Lacy got in his vehicle and retreated, left the scene before officers can get there because maybe he couldn't take the pressure no more. Maybe he was so terrified that these people were putting this vehicular homicide on him that, he didn't know how much time he was facing in prison.
A former LSU wide receiver who was facing criminal charges in Louisiana died during a police pursuit right here in Houston. Now, here's what the Harris County Sheriff's Office is telling us tonight. It started after 11 Saturday night. Deputies with the Precinct 4 Constable's Office were called to a weapons disturbance. Apparently, Lacy was having an argument with a family member when he fired a gun into the ground. Now, by the time deputies arrived, Lacy had left. 20 minutes later, a unit spotted Lacy's vehicle and tried to stop him. There was a chase that went on for several miles, but ended when Lacy crashed along Aldine Westfield Road. When deputies were getting him from the vehicle, they found what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. HCSO believes the shot was fired during the chase. We're told an autopsy will be conducted on Lacy's body. Also, the Civil Rights Division of the Harris County District Attorney's Office will review the results of the investigation once it's finished, which is standard procedure when a death occurs during an attempted arrest.
But his draft stock plummeted after his alleged involvement in an accident that killed the 78-year-old man in Lafourche Parish, Louisiana. So, as you see, this right here affected this young man greatly and his outcome of his future as well. And this right here was a big deal, man, because, once this, young black man made it and became successful at, his God-given talents and gifts, football, right? Being athletic and a sportsman. Now, all that was down the drain due to apparent blatant lie, okay? And obviously the witnesses had to be coerced. We're going to go through all the paperwork that they put out in the conclusion of the whole investigation of Kyron Lacy's death.
That's right. So Kyron Lacy's attorney says that he looked at every piece of evidence, including surveillance video, body cam footage, and the investigative report by the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office. During that interview shared with us by Homa TV, the attorney says reports between the District Attorney's Office and state police do not add up. During a recent interview on Homa TV, former LSU football star Kyron Lacy's attorney, Matt Ory, says data and surveillance video shows Lacy was more than 70 yards away from a collision on State Highway 20 in Lafourche Parish that killed 78-year-old Herman Hall in December of 2024.
At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact.
Following that wreck, Lacy was accused of being at fault for the crash and turned himself in to state police in January on counts of negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle. At the time of his arrest, Louisiana State Police stated that Lacy, who was driving a green Dodge Charger, illegally passed multiple vehicles, causing a vehicle traveling in the opposite direction to avoid Lacy by swerving and crashing head-on into the vehicle that Herman Hall was a passenger in. Ory says Lacy was too far away to have any effect on the crash.
Kyron Lacy did, in fact, pass 4 cars. There's no disputing that. Further north, Kyron Lacy passed 4 cars. However, he was back in his lane of travel, 92.3 yards. Back in his lane, behind Mr. Hall.
In a statement sent to WWL Friday night, Louisiana State Police said in response to the Homa TV interview in part, investigative findings revealed that Mr. Lacy's reckless driving while approaching oncoming traffic led to the events of the crash.
The very last line of the report from the District Attorney's Office says the evidence submitted in the crash report does not support that Kyron Lacy should have known that his actions were the cause of the crash that happened approximately 72 yards in front of him.
Finally, the truth came out, but only after Kyron had already taken himself up out the game, you guys. That's right, he had already checked out, and he didn't get a chance to see, himself be vindicated on this vehicular homicide that they were trying to label him the cause of. And the information, the new evidence, the findings that his lawyer came forth with was the evidence of the video. That's right. The video showing Kyron Lacy was, 72 yards away from the accident, where the accident scene was. How was he involved in it? How did he cause it? Well, they tried to say when he tried to pass, well, he did pass those 4 vehicles up. Okay, 4 vehicles are lined up here. He goes around them, he passes them, and he gets back in his lane of travel, you guys, in front of those 4 vehicles that he passed. Okay, now, many will argue that Kyron was wrong for passing 4 vehicles in a no pass zone, a 2-way highway. Okay, going traffic and oncoming traffic, right? So, of course, he had to hurry up and get around those vehicles, get back in front of them while oncoming traffic was coming. But here's the thing. He was already back in that lane before the wreck even happened, further up the way, almost a football field up the way, you guys. How was he the cause? Well, they're trying to say just because he simply went around those 4 cars simultaneously during the time of that wreck that he was the cause of it, which is false information, as we shall see how it all unfolded and how this one cop, this officer, right, Tyler Warner, coerced a witness that drove that gold truck into saying that Kyron Lacy driving this green Charger was the reason and the cause for this accident that took this 78-year-old man's life, which is a blatant lie, you guys.
According to the video timestamp, at 12:03 p.m. and 52 seconds, a green Dodge Charger is seen traveling south in the opposing lane on LA 20 at a high rate of speed, passing 3 passenger vehicles and 1 loaded 18-wheeler in a designated no passing zone with a 40-mile-per-hour posted speed limit. As the green Dodge Charger returns to the southbound lane, aggressive braking and engine deceleration are immediately followed by a crash that can be heard on the surveillance footage. According to the video timestamp, at 12:03 p.m. and 54 seconds, a portion of the crash can be seen as it occurs. Moments before the crash, the gold pickup truck abruptly veers out of the northbound lane into a business, while the green Charger is approaching in the same lane. Immediately after the crash occurred, the green Charger was observed on surveillance video and by witnesses traveling through the crash scene and continues north on LA 20, failing to stop. At the same time, all other vehicles remain at the scene to provide assistance.
Now, we're going to get to the video of the cop coercing the driver and everything, but man, the body camera footage was released showing this black man as a so-called witness. He said he was driving his 18-wheeler. He was parked over there and he seen the whole ordeal take place. And he blamed Kyron Lacy, this green Charger. Now, when I seen that and I know all the information now that I have gathered, I'm like, why would he lie like that? If you say you seen the accident happen and what caused this accident, brother, bro, you gotta feel like a damn fool, man. You sit up there and lie to these folks. Then you got the cop going along with what you saying, right? And what everybody else is saying about this green Charger, passing people up, passing 4 vehicles and getting back over in the lane. And then right after that, that's when this accident happens. He's the cause of it. So, you helped, obviously, in this whole ordeal with coercing the officer into believing that Kyron Lacy also was the reason for the crash. Man, y'all check this out, man. Dude need his ass whooped, man.
Instinct to turn and then she had no choice. Did you see a green Charger flying that way? A green Charger that going that way?
There was a green Charger.
There's a green Charger that
caused all this.
SRT8, he caused all of it. He went to pass the cars way back there, sir. I'm driving 18
the green Charger collided with these cars?
He went right into
He went around that truck, okay? He was passing up with her right now, and she had no choice. She hits the pole, she gets this.
How are they injuries? What
she
are they?
got a broken ankle.
And
two are
back injuries and then stuff like that. I was
so two back injuries, one broken ankle?
Yeah, I'm not exactly. I just told him not to move. You know what I'm saying? Me doing my part.
You said something about a green Charger. Who told you something about a green Charger?
I'm down 18 wheeler right there, sir.
Okay, so you saw it?
I saw it.
What did you see happen?
He went to pass him. I'll say when he went to pass me cars back there around around the curve, all right?
Okay.
All right. Hey, he come down, right? When he come down, I got Mr. He had his brother that he was taken to the emergency room, to the hospital or something like that, chemo or something like that. But I got his number also to verify this, because he was the car that was in front of her. When that green Charger came, he went caused this whole big traffic, so everybody went to hitting brakes because the Charger, I thought he would hit the gold truck head on. So he jammed on brakes. She was coming down, they was going that way. When I saw...
Which way was the Charger going? The Charger
going this way.
Charger's going this way, okay.
She was coming this way.
Okay.
They was going this way also. Mr. jammed on brakes. She went to dodge Mr. And that's when she came on.
I was about to gas
hit him, on the left side. She come over and hit him.
Which 18-wheeler were you driving?
The red one.
Okay. So the Charger, I guess, passed you up?
The Charger D-line, it was cars behind me because I'm taking my time.
And the Charger was passing all these cars in this
everybody.
lane? And so almost hit this one head on?
No, he almost hit this. It was a gold truck. I got his number right here. That's why I took his number and his name.
Almost hit the gold truck head on?
Yeah, that's his number and phone number and name.
So the gold truck, what did the gold truck do?
Now y'all listen very closely, because the cop asked him, hey, what did the gold truck do? And then the black witness, this man gonna say, what Kyron Lacy did. Now keep in mind, now we know that Kyron Lacy was almost a football field away from the accident scene, 92 yards. And at the time of impact, 72 yards away. So, and he's back in his lane of travel, right? The right lane. Now, this dude, this witness is gonna lie his ass off. Man, it's a goddamn shame.
The gold truck in his area right here.
The gold truck slams on his brakes.
Slams on brakes to stop the Charger. The Charger swerves back in.
Okay.
And cut somebody else off, whoever was behind them.
Okay.
But then they slammed on, the Charger, he swerved in front of them. They slammed on brakes. And by this time, he slips through, right?
Okay.
As he slips through, she's coming. She like to ram the back of the gold truck.
You hear this shit, America? He talking about he swerved and slipped through. Man, how many times did he swerve in front of somebody and slip through? Because that sound like some bullshit, man. Because at the end of the day, we can see it's some bullshit, because according to the CCTV footage, that man was already back in his lane of travel. And he was behind another vehicle, a SUV, okay, in that lane. So he wasn't even the first person up on the crime scene where the accident happened at. Nah, he wasn't. He was not there. He was behind another vehicle. So this man wasn't swerving and slipping through shit. What the fuck is you talking about, man? It's stupid motherfucker, man.
They slammed on brakes, and by this time, he slips through, right?
Okay.
As he slips through, she's coming. She like to ram the back of the gold truck. That's what I'm saying.
So you almost hit the back of Mr.
Yeah, Mr.
Was Mr. truck hit?
No. He was missed.
Okay. So the truck, Mr. He slammed on it.
In other words, it was right up, the gold truck was right up there.
Right.
Yeah.
He slams on his brakes to avoid the Charger.
Yeah.
This car, what?
Cuts that car off, if I'm not mistaken.
So what does this car do? It just swerves out the way to avoid.
So because I was watching it too. She turned the wrong way. Yeah. Instead of going towards the post, she turned this way.
Yeah. Okay, so she turned this way, and then this car was just coming.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. And then the Charger came around.
That's the number for the guy that was in the gold truck.
Okay.
Charger passed in between the mailbox and the
stopped.
I took that because he was leaving, but
Okay.
and see what happened, the Charger had stopped.
There's a green Charger?
Yeah. But then when he seen what happened, he almost hit me because he came right here and kept on.
He's the only one he was the only one that jumped out of traffic. Everybody else turned around and went the other way. He jumped out of traffic, eased through here, and went on down the road.
Okay. Okay. Look, I know it's hurting right now, but do you think you could just tell me briefly what happened? Or do you remember?
I just know the truck was stopping on brakes. The other car was trying to pass the other car. I was trying to dodge by not hitting them by coming around.
Okay. Do you remember how fast you were going?
The speed limit.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
While on scene, the investigating trooper obtained written and recorded statements. The trooper also spoke with additional witnesses via phone and ultimately obtained written statements later in the investigation. After the crash, the passenger in the Kia Sorento died. As part of the continued investigation, the investigating trooper made contact with the driver of the gold truck at a later date to obtain an official written statement based on previous conversations. Troopers also received an additional witness statement describing the erratic driving behavior of the green Charger 10 minutes before the crash.
Do you remember how fast you were going?
The speed limit. Yeah.
While on scene, the investigating trooper obtained written and recorded statements. The trooper also spoke with additional witnesses via phone and ultimately obtained written statements later in the investigation. After the crash, the passenger in the Kia Sorento died. As part of the continued investigation, the investigating trooper made contact with the driver of the gold truck at a later date to obtain an official written statement based on previous conversations. Troopers also received an additional witness statement describing the erratic driving behavior of the green Charger 10 minutes before the crash. Just prior to the crash, Lacy was illegally in the opposing lane, passing southbound vehicles. The gold truck traveling north veered right to avoid a head-on collision with the green Charger. As the gold truck veered right, the driver of the Kia Cadenza saw the approaching green Charger. In reaction, the Kia Cadenza driver swerved left into the southbound lane and impacted a northbound Kia Sorento. Through the investigation, troopers determined that the driver of the gold truck reacted appropriately to avoid a head-on collision with the green Charger, which was approaching at a high rate of speed. In consideration of the high speed of the green Charger compared to the surrounding and opposing vehicles, the reaction time of the involved drivers was greatly diminished. Since the incident occurred, the Louisiana State Police never reported that the green Charger impacted any of the involved vehicles. However, all evidence collected supports the conclusion that Lacy's reckless operation of the green Charger in oncoming traffic triggered the chain of events involving the other drivers, ultimately resulting in the fatal crash. Additionally, troopers determined that less than 10 minutes after the crash occurred, evidence supports that Lacy's first outgoing phone call was to a Baton Rouge area personal injury and defense attorney. After consultation with the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office on January 2, 2025, an arrest warrant was signed on January 8, 2025 through the 17th Judicial Court for Kyron Lacy. In coordination with his attorney, Lacy was arrested on January 12, 2025 at the Lafourche Parish Correctional Center. The driver of the Kia Cadenza was initially issued a citation for following too close, which was later amended to driving left of center. This incident resulted in numerous injuries and loss of life.
Now, after we heard those despicable lies from those so-called witnesses at the crash scene, we even heard the white man say in the background, yeah, he almost hit me, the green Charger almost struck me. Really? Well, this new video evidence showed that the green Charger was behind a white SUV, and the white SUV was closer, the first one up on the crash scene, 72 yards away from the actual crash. So how did he almost hit you, sir? And then it sounded like they had a problem, really, because, he had already went into oncoming traffic and passed up those 4 vehicles in his lane, got in front of them. And then that's when the crash happened over in the other lane when the lady wasn't paying attention. Okay? Try to keep her running into the gold truck. She ends up running into oncoming traffic and causing an accident. So they tried to blame Kyron because he, went around the crash scene to get to practice. They didn't like that. He didn't wait. He didn't have to wait. He didn't cause the crash. But according to them, he did. And when this officer went to this gold truck driver's residence, this is when the coercing comes in at you guys. Run it.
All right, sir. So, look, don't worry about filling any of this top information, like your name, your address. Don't worry about any of that. Just right here, if you could, I'll just have you write exactly what you saw. Just make sure to include, where you were.
I don't even know what the name of that highway.
It's Highway 20. Highway 20. That you just.
All right, maybe my wife gonna figure out right quick.
Now watch right here as this crooked officer, this crooked cop, this dirty low down cop, tells this witness what to write down, you guys. Really? Who are you, man? You weren't even there. You're going by what people said. You have no video evidence at the time, right? You didn't even ask this man what he seen. Now you're telling this man what to write down in his statement. Wow. And blame it all on the green Charger that Lacy was driving.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes, and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that Charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that Charger. That's.
I ain't scared my car, but I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't say what was happening. That's how she called that record. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
And right here, this witness of this gold truck, who actually was the first vehicle that seen Lacy approaching him before he got back over in his lane, right? He seen this, but he clearly tells this cop, this lady behind me is the one who caused this accident. She did because, when she slammed on, her brakes to try to avoid hitting me, she swerved into the oncoming traffic, causing the accident. But then this crooked officer goes right back to what, you guys? In the who? Green Charger, Lacy. But what did he do? Did he do it? Just write it down. Don't worry about it. Do what I say. Some bullshit, man. You need to be fired. Tyler Warner. Allegedly, if that's the one who caused all this misinformation, right? And disinformation to be put out there on social media, leading to Lacy having a mental breakdown and taking his own self out the game. Wowzers. Yikes.
So, but the Charger was coming right at you, correct? And that's why you had to slam on your brake, the head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this Charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here.
In that video, you can clearly hear the suggestive nature indicating that I need you to say that you had to slam on your brakes and you had to avoid a Charger.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes, and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that Charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that Charger. That's.
But then you hear Gold Truck, the witness who's the Gold Truck, what he says. And he says verbatim.
I ain't scared my car, but I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't say what was happening. That's how she called that record. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
I didn't skid marked or nothing because I wasn't even going that fast. That lady in the back of me, she didn't see what's happening. That's how she caused that wreck. She was going to run into the back of me, and she pulled into the other side. But there's a bigger problem. I then obtained the actual written statement.
And this is from the Gold Truck.
This is the Gold Truck. Now, after the statement we just went through, notice I've obviously redacted names, addresses, and the cell phone number in fairness to the individual who is Gold Truck number one in oncoming traffic. See, the problem with that statement is it is in direct contravention to what was said minutes earlier. It's not written by him, and where it says signed, it's not signed. It's refused. But you see, when I have a witness who is the most critical, and he's telling you, I wasn't traveling fast. We know now that he wasn't. The data shows 2.99 seconds before that he was traveling 28 miles an hour. The data shows that. Now, he corroborates that. And he goes on to say, I didn't even make a skid mark. That woman behind me, she caused that accident. And you give me this statement that is refused? I got a problem. I got a problem with that. A big one. What he's saying is she had to avoid hitting him. Mm-hmm. He specifically stated she caused that accident. But I've got an affidavit for arrest warrant right here. Nowhere in here does it say anything that you guys just saw on body cam. To the contrary, about that vehicle, it says the gold truck took evasive action by emergency braking and driving off the roadway to avoid a head-on crash. But you just heard he said, I wasn't even going fast. I didn't even skid mark. So what emergency braking are we referring to here? And what the hell was the point of this report?
Now, right here, the lawyer of Kyron Lacy, he's going to go through how the vehicles were lined up and, where Kyron Lacy's vehicle remained the whole time previously before the crash and after the crash. What was Kyron's vehicle doing, right? Now, a lie ain't shit to tell, but a lie is hard to cover up. And one of those witnesses that was traveling in that 4-pack of cars that Kyron Lacy passed up to get in front of, right before the crash, they stated that Kyron Lacy cut between the two vehicles that made impact and crashed. So they're saying that Kyron Lacy was coming and zoom, slipped through before these two cars hit. That's unbelievable. That's some Fast and Furious type of shit. And this is what they put in the report, you guys. And I guarantee it was that black man who said that he seen Kyron Lacy slipping and swerving through. Sounded like something that matched up with what he said. Wow.
Remember, Kyron passed. I'll just put X's. This is where Kyron passed, right? He comes here, he passes. He gets back in his lane. Don't you know that one of these witnesses that's in this package actually says in his statement that the Charger passed through the vehicle of Mr. Hall and the gold truck and vehicle 2, and then they collided. I can't make this up. This is what people just don't get to see. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not saying this intentional. I'm saying people commit to a story and they don't back down. You saw it here, but I'm telling you, you guys saw a video. You just saw a statement where somebody tells them what to say. They tell them that's not what happened. They still give me the statement. And now I got another individual who we won't harp into here because it's so uncredible, right? That one individual, one of the 4 individuals here, they say that they were going 30 to 35 miles an hour when Kyron passed him. He did. There's no disputing that. No one ever did, but he was back in his lane of travel. 92.3 yards back in. 72.6 at the time of impact. When they collide, he is 72.6. Before they collide, he is almost a football field away back in his lane. That's not disputed. What you can see is another car come to a stop, and then Kyron Lacy come to a stop. But what's really interesting to me as well is that there was another passenger in Kyron Lacy's car. They knew this. They have video footage of this individual getting out of the car. Why didn't you ascertain his identity? Why would you not want to hear the person with one of the best views of this incident? Why would you make a call? Why would you simply not bring him in for questioning?
So as we always come to find out, it's always an incomplete investigation on part of law enforcement. And, they don't do the full job when it comes to a lot of these investigations. As the facts come out and you see that it was a witness that was in the car with Kyron Lacy while he was on his way to football practice at that time. Why they didn't question the passenger of Kyron Lacy's vehicle at the time when all this happened. Like they said, man, they just disregarded so much that could have helped this young man's case. But instead, they put this vehicular homicide, right, on him, causing his spiraling out of control mentally. And he was just so unsure of his career now that was supposed to be NFL promising.
And I'm sure you talked to him after?
Of course I talked to him after. It's exactly what they said.
Yeah.
It's exactly what they said. Mm-hmm. They actually thought at one point in time that she collided with the gold truck. That's the very first thing they told me, that they thought that this vehicle, vehicle 2, was trying to get around the two. As in, slide between them, as in, uh-oh. You know, so you can see why. This is just amazing now, what I know, and there's so much more. We've spent hours and hours and hours scouring, but I don't know how else to tell anybody else that this is not mine. I didn't generate this. I didn't manipulate this. I didn't alter it. I didn't manufacture it. I received it from the district attorney's office. I then did my job, and I compare it to the report and the investigation of state police, and it is drastic. He was actually the second car to pull up behind, not even the first. At no point in time did he have to slam his brakes. He wasn't even close to the second car. He just eased in. He eased in. He went straight from there to the facility in Trevor for his football practice. But he had no idea he caused this accident because he didn't think he caused the accident. He didn't cause the accident.
Now that the information is out, the truth is out, the facts are out, Kyron Lacy had nothing to do with the crash as the investigation came to an end, and, you know, all the facts were out there. But it's a problem. Kyron Lacy is no longer here to vindicate himself, okay? And now you have people in an uproar. You have people pissed off at, you know, the law enforcement there, you know, considering that, you know, you hear this cop coercing one of the witnesses to say that it was Kyron Lacy's green Charger that caused the crash that led to the death of a 78-year-old man. Now, as many people were crying out for justice for Kyron, right, and that this wouldn't have probably had happened at all had they not blamed this homicide on him. And a lot of people felt like that, but one specific person, this internet comedian, crazy cockeyed commando, cool, capping, cackling, confidential, CIA, clock chasing cockamamie, cross-eyed Charles. You know, he had to say something about the Kyron Lacy situation. This is what he said, and a lot of people were upset, wanting to cancel Charleston White behind his comments, you know, saying F Kyron's mother, F his family, F Kyron, he hopes he is burning in hell for taking himself out the game, right? Because according to the Bible, as crazy, cockeyed, cross-eyed Charles is saying, that's a sin. But many would say, who is he to talk about sin?
Kyron Lacy. He done been found innocent, and he done guaranteed a trip to hell. A weak ass. He know he innocent. For to kill my mother for that. And fuck his mama and anybody else who supported him. Fuck everybody who mad about Kyron Lacy. He was a weak ass. They put this here. He's supposed to die. As you talking about, it was meant for him to die. He's not going to hell. Anybody who commits is going to where, boys and girls. Hey, where he's gonna ride in, boys and girls, Kyron Lacy will ride in hell. You don't let no white man. Every Hurricane Carter went to jail. The box went to jail for murder he didn't even commit. Guess what he did? Went in the cell in the box. Told them white folks I ain't putting no uniform on. They put him in the hole. What he did? Talk to himself. You don't put yourself. Fuck that weak ass. And fuck anybody who feeling sorry for him. I don't feel sorry for no nigga that'll go against his nature and kill himself. He don't mean us no good as a fuck him. Fuck his football team, whoever. You think if I won't say Charlie Kirk, I won't say fuck self-hanging ass. You make that white boy hang you. You make him wrongly convict you. You make the white boy kill you. You don't kill yourself. You don't make the white man kill you. You don't kill yourself. So fuck that. So don't bring that weak ass African American to a real. No real nigga gonna hang himself. His himself, stab himself, he might jack his off. That's the most a real nigga gonna do to himself. Jack the skin off. Jack his skin and hurt her. But nigga ain't hurting himself. He'll hurt his. He might fuck with no rubber. He might fuck with no rubber. Rolling the dice. And hit. Might not catch nothing this time. He'll fuck again with no rubber. And hit again. But he ain't hitting himself. He'll take all kind of chances with it. Fuck all kind of raggedy little shit with it. All kind of, but is not taking his life. He might he be reckless with his dick before he take his life. That's all I'm saying.
Now, did Charleston White have to disrespect Kyron Lacy's mother? No, he didn't. Did he have to disrespect everybody who supports Kyron Lacy? No, he didn't. Come on, man. Now, if you felt a certain way about the guy taking, himself out the game, as they say, you know what I mean, all right? So just stick to that. You ain't gotta drag everybody and everything that the man loved into the situation. See, this is what a lot of people have a problem with Charleston for. And many people feel like if Charleston White is this intelligent person, like many people claim that he is, he talks with sense a lot of the time. Why come he can't apply that, same type of energy in these types of situations and stories? He could have easily said, well, this is a lesson, what not to do, because you never know when your blessing coming. You have to go through something to get somewhere, right? Kyron didn't wait long enough, you guys, boys and girls, as Charleston said. This is a lesson to be learned. He could have easily did that, but he didn't want to. You know why? Because Charleston White, he likes to draw the crowd. He don't want to run the crowd away. And saying the right thing all the time, a lot of people might not want to watch that. Okay? So when he says these things that people ain't going to say or might not say on video, like F Kyron, right? F his mama, right? He deserved to be in hell and burn in hell. This and that and that and this. He know people are going to listen now. He know people are going to tune in now and keep his name in the conversation. That's pretty much why he does it. Shock value. Now, I don't think we'll ever see the canceling of Charleston White, as, constantly we hear the conversation being brought up about how he needs to be canceled for opinion or, disrespect that he gave a certain topic, and, people's names and families and loved ones get dragged into it, and even children. And time again, this is what's being said, but he's not being canceled by afar because he has a phone. He can hit record and say anything he wants at any given time. How you gonna cancel somebody like that? As long as he pays his phone bill and upload his video to YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. You can't silence a Charleston White. And, his opinions are, being watched and being regurgitated every day by people who, side with him and people who disagree with him. And that causes a debacle, a debate. Many people like a good debate. And this is an ongoing thing and it'll never stop. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, he, did that for a reason, just to keep his name, in the conversation. Now to wrap it up with, why did Kyron Lacy take himself out the game? And if you don't like to listen, I ain't talking to you, right? Because I'm not going to give you no narrative. I'm going to give you the rundown. And the whole rundown consists of giving you every element and aspect and piece of evidence that was involved in the Kyron Lacy case. And now we're going to check out what his lawyer had to say what happened that fateful day where Kyron Lacy was already in Houston, Texas now. But this whole incident took place in Lafourche, Louisiana. Okay. But now he's in Houston. And this incident occurs to where a 911 call comes in and they say that Kyron Lacy shot his gun in the ground, right? And before the law enforcement get there, Kyron Lacy had already hit the highway.
I'm going to go out on a limb because I figure you probably know the truth on this matter. Is there anything that you would like to set straight about the Houston part of this story?
I don't know that the Houston part of this story didn't upset me more than the front end. Let me just say this. Kyron Lacy went to Houston that Friday with his mind made. He was suffering. There was a point in time that night at his apartment, the apartment that he, his little brother, and his cousin were in. His mind was made. He wanted the keys to that vehicle to, I don't know how to say this, yeah. So, it's either you give me my keys and I do this on my own accord, or this is going to go down right here, right now. Obviously, the keys were given. A welfare call was made. Keyword, welfare. Welfare check. Right? There was no crime. There's none of that, man.
Mm-hmm.
No drugs, none of that BS. The kid's mind was made. You know the rest of the story.
So he told whomever he was with that that was the place and time. Wasn't there a shot fired or something?
That's how he got his keys. I think that's how you're showing him. And by the way, the shot was fired in the ground on purpose to let them know the seriousness of what was going on in his head.
So he wanted their attention.
He wanted his keys.
Yeah.
And they knew not to give him his keys. They knew what was going to happen. But what are you going to do? You going to watch it go down, or are you going to give him his keys?
Right.
His mind was made. Social media killed him. Killed him.
Mm-hmm. 11 days before the NFL draft, Kyron knows that his NFL stock has plummeted. People aren't really looking into him because of this liability he has with this case pending, vehicular homicide, back in Louisiana, that he's been wrongfully accused of. Right? But nobody believes him. Everybody's calling him all these weird, sick names and, just giving him all this negative attention, right? Before he's even proven innocent. He was already guilty in the public opinion. And, now we come to find out that when he was back in Houston at his apartment, his family members, they knew that he was bound and prone to possibly do something to himself, maybe because of the conversations he was having around the residents, right? They probably heard him say something, right? And an incident occurred where he wanted his keys to leave the house and they would not give him his keys. So he fired the gun at the ground just to let them know the seriousness of him getting his keys and leaving. Because if he didn't get those keys from them, he would do this in front of them and they would be left traumatized. So just give me the keys, man, so I can go. And that's what the family, his brother and cousin, was faced with. And that's a decision that they had to make. And unfortunately, Kyron Peters is no longer with us. Peace, love, and condolences to the family of Kyron in their time of bereavement. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. And until the next time, this is OG Jucario TV with the latest in rap, hip-hop, celebrity, and urban news. You're watching the Rundown Podcast. I appreciate everybody for spinning with me. I appreciate all my subscribers for sliding with your boy every time. And say, hey man, keep hitting that like button, keep hitting that subscribe button, and look, turn on post notification so we can slide whenever I get the drop. You already know what it is, man. It's deep in the boot of her, you hear me? And guess what? I'm gone.